2 minutes remaining. Come through, boys. Share this around. We have Blake, former founder of My Flash Funding. We're going to be discussing what not to do in a prop firm. He now has a new business. He has a degree in metaphysics and all sorts of achievements. So let's chat about it. $50,000 Maven Challenge to the best question. 90 seconds of counting. All right, check. Blake, you good with your video there?
There. Yeah, we here.
Perfect. Okay, guys. He might need some introduction because he's been away from the game for maybe a year or so now. It's been about a year.
Yeah, last July.
Okay.
I went dark.
Last July. So Blake was a founder of another prop firm that did super well. And we're going to discuss what were the pitfalls majorly in, it is a prop firm that ended up going under. I think you went gracefully from what I can remember. And
yeah, we got acquired.
Not all businesses last forever. Great learning experience. You probably took some things away, but let me give him a brief introduction here. He has a degree in metaphysics, being mastering consciousness for the better part of his life, which amazingly helps him in the trading world as well. Being aware of your thoughts, being aware of the actions behind everything that you're doing, and looking at an omnipotent point of view onto your trading so that you can better analyze the charts, right? He then started a business, a prop firm that did super well. I think you were in the top 10 within 6 months, and you just absolutely blew up. From there, the whole industry got really rocky, and only a couple survived at the end, and no hard done to him. Now is running another company called Boostiko, helping other prop firms, I believe.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm super. First of all, what's up, guys? Hope everyone's well.
Let me see in chat if you guys recognize Blake.
Can I see that too? Oh yeah, I can.
There is a chat there that you can see, and that's going to be X and YouTube right now. We're only streaming to the two. But guys, as usual, $50,000 Maven Challenge given away to the best question to Blake. So make sure it's relevant to something that he specializes in, right? We're going to ask him some good questions. First off, let's start off with Blake. You a trader?
So obviously I started trading, right? About probably 2017, 2018. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but basically I was part of iMarkets Live. It's a multi-level marketing, like Forex company. I'm sure some of you in the chat have heard of it. I was in it for probably like 6 months, but that was my introduction to trading, right? And then from there, I basically got into algorithmic trading, so EAs and all of that good stuff. Went into HFT, and again, I was still I was a novice at trading and at this time, and it did not go well, right? So at this time, this is probably 2020 by now. And I realized I'm way more set out for the business side of trading. I love the industry itself, but trading never went well for me. Right. I just love the industry. So I stuck around. I got more into kind of the low return side of trading. So creating an EA that does 2-3%. We actually created I guess you could call it a fund, a very informal fund. Me and a couple of my buddies, and we got like 130,000 in assets under management, and just this, MT5 account with a couple friends and family. And I ended up leaving that company and getting a job at ClickUp. If any of you guys have heard of ClickUp.
Sounds familiar.
And they continued that. They're absolutely crushing it. So, and then obviously I left ClickUp to start My Flesh Funding. That's a little bit of my story in the trading industry. I'm a gambler at heart. I'm a DJ gambler, honestly. So I just can't trade. I'd rather play blackjack, which I'm terrible at blackjack too.
Blackjack is such a funny one because you can rig it for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you know how to count cards, you definitely.
Honestly, I sat in a hotel room in Vegas one time learning how to count cards. I was doing a snowboard tour with some girl that I was seeing at the time, and I was adamant that I was going to become a professional blackjack player as well. So we sat down for 3 days straight. We played blackjack in the hotel room, which is 2 decks, and the counting cards is so significantly advantageous.
Oh, it is. But the thing is, so it's like most tables are going to have 6 decks, right? So the count is going to be tougher, and then you're going to have people coming in and out, and then also they can cut the deck in a random spot, which they always do. Usually the players cut the deck, and then you just never know where it's going to end, right? Because the deck cut. So it's hard, in my opinion, to count cards, but I'm no mathematician, so I always just went in there with that basic book strategy or kind of a little intuition, which it works sometimes, but not always.
Yeah, totally, man. That's exactly what it was when we were practicing with 2 decks in the hotel room, because I had 2 decks with me. It was every single shoe. It was, we were making money. I was right more than I was wrong. But then when you put in 6, it's a lot more difficult because you don't get to that statistical advantage until you're like 2/3 through the deck, the entire shoe. So that takes a lot longer time, and then they reshuffle it halfway through, right?
100%.
What was that movie 21? What was that movie 20? Wasn't it called 21?
Yeah, or is it 21? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the college students who went through the gambling class. Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's a true story too, eh?
I believe so.
It's another it goes into the same ballpark. We all love making that fast money and trying to figure out an edge over the markets. Hey, that's a really interesting introduction to yourself. How did I'm curious because how did what did you call it? The 130K stockpile of cash. Were you running an EA on that?
Yeah.
Was it a MAM?
We coded the EA.
Yeah.
And no lie, it's literally a basic DCA EA and honestly pretty much martingale, but it was made with smart money concepts, right? So the entries were usually pretty good, and if there was if it was already overbought or oversold, we're not going to get into too much drawdown because we're not going to be taking it if it's too overbought or too oversold. It honestly has done well, bro. Literally after this call, I'll send you. They have a link that shows all of their account. It's a lot of money that they're managing. It's pretty crazy. It's done very well. It averages 1.5% a month.
That's beats the market. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I think realistically, you can do something like that as long as you're investing in kind of an up only model like Bitcoin or the NASDAQ or gold or something like this. You wouldn't necessarily be able to do it too well with speculative investments, or maybe fiat wouldn't work as well either, because you need something that you could always scalp out at the top, right?
Well, I mean, they're in FX pairs, right? Like EU, AU,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that. But the risk is there. The risk is there, for 40 to 50% drawdown.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That like
Yeah.
long term, it's not worth it. Like eventually in 20, within 20 years, there's going to be a black swan.
That's
Something along the lines.
That's the issue with bots and EAs, is majority
it's
of them work
martingale.
on martingale, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you have a standalone bot that can work on a singular trade basis, that is worth billions of dollars in itself.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Has anyone successfully gotten multiple payouts and been consistent on your prop firm with a martingale EA?
Oh, well, we don't allow martingale at all.
Oh yeah. Okay, got it.
But I will say that averaging in, so martingale for us is 5 consecutive positions in a losing trade. Okay.
Okay.
So you add to a loss 5 times, right?
Yeah, that's definitely martingale.
I have seen people go in and say, hey, I'm not very good at timing my entries. And this is actually something I advise too to some traders that I'll teach on my stream is, if you don't know your entry super, super well, but you know the direction, like, hey, it's going up, but I'm just going to average in and then I'm going to accept a loss after 3 or 4 trades, right?
Yeah.
You can do super, super well and increase your hit rate. And I've seen that. And that's really, really, beneficial. And I've seen people get multiple payouts that way.
Okay. So you guys don't really restrict dollar cost averaging. You just can't like stack insane amounts of, like, you can't stack 5 or more, which in my opinion, if you're dollar cost averaging, you're probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The reality is once you're at 5, it's like, okay, how are you going to get out of that? Right.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Because if you close one, then you're in the drawdown again. It basically has to go to break even on that first entry.
You dollar cost average quite a bit in your own trading, Hunter.
what I do is I draw zones, right?
Yeah.
And this would be something interesting, is if you wanted to, go back to your guys there, Blake, at your old company and say, hey, I've got a better way to do this, is find a way to draw a zone where it's going to buy in at. And then as long as it's accepting losses, you're going to be able to run that bot forever. And that bot is actually going to be, it's not going to blow itself up, right? Because I warn you, and I think you've already agreed to this, is I actually had a buddy that did the exact same thing. I think he got, $10 million or something like that from investors. And after 6 years, everything was going great. I think he was making like he was pushing a lot higher percent, of course. He was pushing like 5% a month. And
that's the risk.
Yeah. Eventually it all blew up. And then, now the SEC's after him, or whatever it is that, has to take that. So it's a risky career path to be in.
No, I totally agree. And usually it's with like offshore brokers and everything like that. If you are going to do it, you really have to stick with like the 1% to 2% return, or else that drawdown risk is just way too high.
Yeah, cool. Jumping over to just about the market right now, James, the market is plummeting right now. What's your take on this? When I went to bed last night, it was beautiful, and now I wake up this morning, I'm like, ooh,
I actually made some money short on EAS today and NQ short yesterday. So yeah, it's interesting. We are at all-time highs, but we are coming back down now, filling that gap. What did you trade today?
No, I haven't actually been trading the open the past couple weeks. I've been lazy, man. I've been sitting back. I've been doing this account flip thing, and it takes a little bit more energy out of me. So I'm trading later in the days, more high probability setups right now.
Martingaling it.
I'm martingaling my $100 stack.
Dude, I saw you crushing that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can bang that out. Okay, cool.
To $1 million, yeah. I mean,
to $1 million. Let's see how she goes.
I'll put 100 in and take a little bit.
There you go. Hey,
Take a cut of the winnings.
get a cut of the winnings, right? Cool. So I want to know, Blake, let's talk metaphysics, right? We were talking last night. It's a word that doesn't even make sense to me. I'm too dumb to understand that stuff. But you were talking to me about some really interesting stuff, and you suggested an amazing book that I spent all night reading. I was up to like 3 a.m. last night. I couldn't sleep because this book was so good. By Michael Singer. And it's all about meditation and changing your consciousness. And I can see how this really applies to trading. So to give us a little insight about, your experience with, first of all, what is metaphysics?
So in my opinion, metaphysics is basically oneness, right? And it's like all of like, if you were to combine all religions, right? It's like the acceptance of all the beliefs and also the oneness of like me, James, and Hunter are all operating on the same wavelength where we can come together and understand each other. Like if I hurt James, I'm actually hurting myself. Or if I help James, I'm helping myself. So it's like the ideology of oneness throughout, Earth's consciousness.
Gotcha. Hive mind sort of mentality.
What did you say?
The hive mind mentality.
Yeah,
we all serve the overlord.
Exactly. Like one of the best examples of this is COVID, right? So if you take COVID, every single person on Earth was going through the same exact situation. It was probably the strongest conscious evolution that Earth has been through in definitely in my lifetime, but hundreds and hundreds of years. Just because if you look back on it, the amount of transformation that came from that, like AI, real estate, especially AI, work from home, just the idea of coming back to the self happened from COVID. It literally forced someone to sit with themselves. So whatever they ended up doing with that kind of showed where they were at, right? If they sat at home and drank all the time, that's where their soul was at. Like the truth was coming out, and it gave them the ability to learn that lesson because they literally had to sit with themselves. So I think, that's a long-winded answer, but
okay, interesting. So that's how does that help you in that understanding? And maybe somebody's listening along and saying, because I always want to, everything we do here, right, is to help the viewers become better traders or help the viewers understand the prop firm world or the trading world in a whole, right? How does that sort of knowledge help you as a trader? You know what I mean?
So I mean, if I were to be in the markets, right, I believe that one of the strongest ways you can implement this is just like the book says, it's truly the surrender experiment. So like surrendering to the markets is not like if you have a bias and the market is showing you something, listen to the market rather than pushing your ideology onto the market.
Yeah.
So letting it talk to you rather than talking to it, I believe would be strong.
Learning how to read the market and what the global consensus is, right? Of what's happening next, rather than being an individual and trying to fight, that hive mind,
Yeah.
And the guys that traded at what was it, my flash funding, what were they doing well in terms of like what were they trading well? How were they adopting kind of like some of these beliefs, would you say? You must have interviewed some of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I never personally interviewed them. My content creator did. Actually, Ajwad, who has a prop firm now. But these guys were really good at trading news, but we ended up restricting that within the small window. But I think that the traders at MyFlash, a lot of them were very strong on specific strategies, right? So like gold was definitely our most traded pair. I believe it's very similar at most prop firms. So following the U.S. news and things like that, people were really good at that. Unfortunately, I never interviewed anyone personally, so I'm not sure, their mindset.
Sure.
And cool. So there's a question just regarding kind of somewhat related to what we were just talking about. Becoming a full-time trader improves your quality of life or just shifts your problems. Maybe I think I might have read that a little bit differently in my head, actually. But let me see let me ask you what I read from that, right? Is how does, adopting this philosophy affect, your quality of life and not just your trading life, right?
Yeah. So with meditation, or any kind of belief that I'd say you're basically trying. So there's this thing called like a non-drifter and a drifter, right? And Napoleon Hill kind of came out with that in Think and Grow, Outwitting the Devil. But basically allowing life to flow within you rather than viewing your circumstances as the truth, I'd say, right? So you can be technically in an environment that most people would think is torturous, but if you have inner peace or you have the ability to go within, you can basically buy that feeling that you're craving in a way, right? So
what do you mean buy?
Buying might not be the best word, but you can tap in.
Okay.
Right? You can tap into that energy, through basically visualization or just like inner belief of you're already there, right? So say you have a goal of having like 10,000, rather than saying like, I need 10,000, how can I make 10,000? You can affirm it and say like, I am worthy of 10,000. I have 10,000. 10,000's on the way. I'm going to get a check in the mail for 10,000 type thing. So
this sounds like affirmations. What's your thought on affirmations then? Does that stuff work? I tried it briefly and it was like,
I mean, I think everything's you got to repeat it for it to work, right?
Yeah.
You do it one time, it's kind of like going to the gym.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a big believer of like what you think or say. The power is quite of what you think and say is quite powerful for sure.
Yeah.
Like whether you think you can or can't, you're right.
Absolutely. I mean, everything you say is like I were talking about this, Hunter, last night. Basically, everything you say is a prayer, right? And
sure.
your prayer is a message to God or the universe, and like a stream of consciousness, right? Your thoughts are the same way. So you repeat a thought, it's more likely that you're going to believe that that's true, because we lie to ourselves all the time. So if you can train your brain to consistently say, not positive, not negative, like negative and positive are fine, but more neutral, right? No matter what happens, if I get $1 million today, if I lose everything today, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're just going to stay consistently peaceful and within, because that money is not mine and the money was never mine.
Yeah.
So it's like that middle ground.
The money can be thought of kind of the same sort of way as thoughts coming in and out of your mind, right? You the money comes in, the money goes out, and then you're on a new set of tasks, right? Just like, I have thoughts today, tomorrow I'm going to, yesterday I was pretty pissed off for some reason. I remember looking at the charts here and I was clicking some buttons and the windows weren't opening. And I got really frustrated. And I was like, why am I frustrated? Because my computer's not working. I can just use my other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe it was just like today we need to go touch grass, no charts.
Yeah. And I think that's largely what you're touching on, is saying, hey, listening to what your body's actually telling you, right?
Yeah.
Rather than forcing, hey, I should be trading today because it's Monday.
Yeah.
I feel like I am not worth enough if I'm not trading today, right? But maybe my worth is outside today.
That right there is very strong. I think a lot of us, especially entrepreneurs, which traders are, entrepreneurs, we identify strongly with our work.
Yeah.
And that is a massive mental health struggle.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like, oh shit, I didn't work hard enough, or I only did a couple hours, or I was supposed to do this today and I didn't, or I need to make this amount of money and I didn't.
Yeah.
That's like we've identified so strongly, especially in the trading industry, with results, that we don't just appreciate the moment or the journey or where we're at right now. And that's a massive struggle for me personally.
Yeah,
I think, so I used to play professional rugby, Blake, and then once I bust my knee up and my contract kind of finished, again, like as you said, I put my whole, kind of self-worth in my ability to play rugby, and then you lose your contract, you can't really run around because you've torn your ACL for 9 months. Can be tough. Speak to us a little bit about, because I think that's actually quite true. I think a lot of traders, from a trading perspective, put their whole identity, if they made money that day, or if they didn't, if they make money, then they feel like flipping God. If they don't, then they shit. And I think a lot of guys, it can get quite. So speak to us a little bit about when you started the business, you sold it off. What was that transition?
I love this
for you?
question.
I think that's quite similar to how a trader might feel, right?
I love this question.
It was, so you're basically asking me how I felt whenever I sold the company or got it acquired.
Yeah.
This is, I'll just be honest. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It was awful. I literally was depressed for months, and it was like losing a kid. Basically, that's probably the best way to describe it. Because I felt like I identified so strongly with My Flesh Funding that I felt like I lost my purpose and my identity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was extremely hard to get out of that mindset, and I was abusing alcohol and just doing anything to cover up the emotions. I was not meditating, I was not hitting the gym, dude. I was chilling by myself, just literally getting drunk.
Yeah. Drinking and texting girls. Drinking and texting girls you probably shouldn't be texting, hey? Trying to make fast money.
Definitely did that. Did that as well. Everything that comes with the literally losing your business, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It felt like I lost my kid. I was in a massive grieving process.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know if I was ever going to do anything like that, where I felt not even take away the money, just something that I could sit here and build every day and have a community that I get to nourish and take care of people, like my team. That how it is, bro. It's amazing. It's a great feeling, and you don't really know what you have until it's gone. But it took me a long time, probably 4 to 5 months to snap out of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then after you're kind of dealing with the consequences of what you've done for the last 4 to 5 months, just absolutely sat there and not done shit. And so it's crazy, man. Honestly, literally, holy cow, wait. So July 27th last year is when it got acquired. So almost 1 year ago today.
1 year pretty much on the dot, yeah?
Yeah, which is crazy. But it has been probably the craziest year of my life, just going through that and then just realizing I still wanted to be in the industry and determining, trying to figure that out. And it happened very, very organically with Boostiko, because a few people came to me and was like, hey, you know how to market a prop firm. I loved what you did with My Flesh. Can you come help me? Totally. So it was God, in that moment, because I wasn't even in the conscious stream of like, let's build something again.
Yeah. You're on the down spiral.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question from James. We talk a lot about attaching our egos to being a trader, right? And that's why I think James was bringing up his story about when he tore his ACL. Is he was a rugby player, right? And then lost his ego, and he had to do a complete, holy resurrection to find himself again, right? And 100%. I think it's probably a very similar experience. And then I want to compare to James as well. How did you get out of that spiral? Was it literally that people sucked you out of it and forced you back into helping them, or what?
Basically. So James, are you from South Africa?
I am, yes, sir.
Okay, so this is part of my story, which is very interesting. One of my buddies was opening a prop firm from South Africa. Where are you in South Africa?
I'm in Durban or Ballito, so it's on the east coast. Where I think you're going to probably say Cape Town, which is down the south.
Yeah, well, no, I was in Pretoria.
Oh, Pretoria, yeah, that's the capital. Yeah. So that's like central. Yeah.
Yeah. So they flew me out, and they're like, "Hey, we want you to help us, this and that." Inevitably, that one didn't work out, which is totally okay. But while I was there, another firm called me, and they hired me like 2 days later, right? So genuinely, this was none of my doing. It happened very, very organically, and that's kind of how, like you said, I think God just basically put these moments for me to come out of it. And truthfully, they all happened at the exact time that I needed them to, which is crazy. The timing is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the opportunities come up and you just have to seize them, right? God puts them in your hands. Question from T God that kind of relates. We're going to flow into, kind of the prop firm world here now. While you were running My Flash, what was the biggest challenges that you faced? And then, how did you overcome those challenges? Or ultimately, I also want to get into what caused, that'll be a second part of the question, but what caused the downfall? What was the big challenge that you couldn't fix?
Okay. So what was the first part? What was the hardest thing I dealt with?
The biggest challenges, biggest struggles. And then I want to see, because the industry is insane. I know that. Yeah. You probably went through 100 challenges, and then you probably messed up one little thing, right? And then that's what caused a little, and then you trip your feet, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I like literally, how every single day or week, there's always some quote unquote major issue, whether it's with payment processing, whether it's with tech, whether it's with PR, whether it's community based, whether one of your challenges isn't working at checkout. Yeah. Like something happens all the time.
Every day.
Which is like, I loved it. Bring it on. Like, we got this. But we get through all of these things, right? MT5 happens in February. Get rid of MT5, basically. And it didn't affect revenue, honestly, which was amazing. But I literally messed up one thing for maybe 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
I literally didn't realize that. So we get Match Trader. I didn't realize that the market depth, and basically the simulated liquidity and all of that and the spreads were what they were. And it only took days for it to ruin us. Yeah. Honestly. And it sucked because as soon as it happened, I knew it was going to be a PR thing. I tried everything I could, to take care of the traders. But basically our spread on Bitcoin was less than 1 pip. Now imagine, like, I want to ask you how you would have handled it. So basically what I did was any of the like crypto indices and commodities were affected by this. Commodities, not as much. It was mainly crypto because everyone saw the exploit.
Yeah.
But basically what I did was I gave them a free account. I kept all of their profits on FX instruments. I removed the ones on crypto because of the exploit, gave them a free account, refunded their entire purchase, and allowed them to continue trading. So where I went wrong, right, was basically it was my fault that happened. So in their eyes, I'm taking away their profits, even though it was a complete tech issue. And they were aware, in my eyes, I believe they were, that they were taking advantage of the issue. So I'm curious how you would handle that. But basically, that did not go over well with some people. Some of the traders took it to Twitter, got removed from Profit Match, all of that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, I do remember that day. Even
I know you messaged me.
I got a message from you, and you asked me something about what's something wrong with the new match trade, and I'm like,
yeah,
man, you forget, like you said like people are making shitloads of money, right? Like something that doesn't make sense, right? And I'm like, I remember just thinking to myself, I'm like, you didn't set up the server right, did you? Right?
I didn't set it up.
Exactly.
That was the thing.
And it's one little thing, and I know we're gonna get a clip from that, I'm sure, because when you said that one thing that messed us up, that's a really good clip in itself, I'm sure.
So, but sorry, I'm not a prop firm owner or from that side of the thing. Excuse my ignorance. Is it basically like the spreads were too good, like they were just like basic, so people were like fixing them, and scalping basically so quick because the spreads are so small, basically, essentially.
Yeah,
I see.
Pretty much. He had basically zero spread on Bitcoin, right? So you could just buy whatever and then sell for profit, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was just an example. One example. It was across like 40 instruments.
Oh, right? Wow.
Yeah. So our payouts were literally, we had already paid out 150K on the month in April. And I'm looking at the withdrawal report and it's like $479,000. And keep in mind, my flash was decently big, but we had just implemented rules to basically get payouts down. James, I'm not sure if you're aware, but like in 2023, almost every firm, just because the rules were too easy.
Yeah.
The payout ratio was crazy.
Sure.
Right. So it was tough to build a reserve, especially because you had to stay competitive.
Yeah.
Correct. Otherwise, people aren't going to come buy from you.
Exactly. The industry is way more mature now with the rules. So I believe it.
Yeah, like with the consistency rules, and I've seen there's a lot of different rules that have come in for sure. That I think personally, and I think a lot of people, traders from my side of the thing compared to yours and hunters, are going to be like, oh well, that rule doesn't benefit traders or whatever. But it's like, well, dude, they need, like, obviously there has to be rules in place to benefit the firm, that the firm can make money, keep cash reserves, as well as also can pay traders out. That traders that are deserving of payouts are going to get it. Not like these hidden rules or anything like that, but fair rules that are going to, like, this is the rule, you do it, you're going to get paid out. And I think that's where sometimes traders don't understand that there has to be that balance.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, now it's so much more mature, but back then, almost every firm I would speak to was like 30, 40, 50%. And it would vary on month, right? Because sometimes, like, especially in December, your revenue drops.
Sure.
So the payouts would go up. So it's basically that, right? Like we were just turning the page with getting all the rules implemented to lower payouts, right? And April was looking like the best month, and it turns out to be what basically ended us. Yeah, crazy journey, man.
The question you asked, what would I have done, right? The issue is that we recognized early that this was the Wild West days, and exactly what you said is, hey, there's an issue every freaking day. Like, I remember there was a good 3 months that there wasn't a single day that I woke up that there wasn't a massive issue, right?
Yeah.
And the reality was, we were like, there's going to be a day where we don't have a solution, right?
Yeah.
So, and you can't deny payouts, you can't delay payouts, you can't change rules on traders who have already purchased. The only thing that you could do is say, hey, the product that we've offered is, there's an exploit in it, so we have to refund you before you even get to the payout. We're going to change and reset everything. That would have been the only thing that you can do in the instinctive moment. But the reality is, you are going to get those runaway payouts. And if you didn't have a reserve and you didn't actually plan for failure, right? Like prepare for that day that things would hit the fan, then you would have run out of reserves, right? And that's something that, since, I think about 8 months into Maven, we realized that, hey, this is going to be one of those like crypto cycles where there's going to be a bear market at some point and everyone's going to go under. And what we started doing since like about 8 months in, we started just stacking cash, right? And we're still doing that. We have a reserve of cash that's fucking astronomically high at this point. Like it makes no sense for us to have this amount of money, right? But the reality is, it's the only way that you can stay in the game with that much variance, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys weren't able to get that cash because they were trying to be competitive. So I remember it was about, 8 months we recognized. 4 months after that, we made some changes, right? And we put in, certain variance restricting rules, right? Yeah. You can't make $10,000 in a single payout. It caps, right? There's a withdrawal cap, right? And that allowed us to reduce the extreme side, right, of the variance, so that our payout levels were stable every single month, right? Yeah. So that there wasn't as many exploits, right? And so that there was some backlash. I think we made a couple other changes and whatnot, and that was about 6 months before everyone went under, right? Yeah. So that's the reality of it, is if you didn't recognize it 6 months prior, or you didn't have like just crazy amounts of cash being one of these top 5 guys, the reality is everyone who was mid-sized went under, right? Yeah. Because they were trying to be competitive. And that's the trick, is we were all playing this game of, hey, Bitcoin is going up forever, it's going to go up forever, rather than protecting our downside.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think, I mean, the only thing that, I'm very proud of my flesh funding and what I built, and the community that we had, I absolutely loved it. I think it's not sad, but it's just, I feel like we were so much better than what it looked like in the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that, I just knew that I had to take care of the traders, which we did, obviously. Shout out Swift. But it's, I don't know. I look back and I just feel like, dude, we were about to absolutely cook.
Yeah.
Like, if we just got through April somehow, I think we'd be massive.
Yeah,
Truly.
Totally. If you got some sort of external investor or something like that to buffer the,
but the thing is, literally I should have. I tried also, and every single firm that I would reach out to, or like owner, like everyone was going through such a similar time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone was struggling.
Everyone was.
So it's like, if I, reached out to my partner or whatever, or another firm that's bigger than me and been like, hey, do you want to own a part of My Flash Funding? They're like,
Can't.
bro, I'm struggling right now too.
Yeah.
So it's like if that happened today, it would be a whole different ballgame, honestly. Yeah. I know a ton of people who are looking to invest in firms. So I just think, man, it was, like I said, the stars aligned for me to no longer have My Flash Funding. It's literally part of the surrender experiment. It's like, I did what I could. I did what I felt like I had the experience and capability to do in that moment. Looking back, I think I would have handled it differently. Truly. I would have literally said, hey, look, right now, I honestly don't have your payout because of this exploit. Like, the payouts are absolutely, here's the true numbers of everyone that was able to make money from this error. All right. We're going to put you on a payment plan. Right. And we make a deal, on the back end where it's like every month they get part of their payout until we recover. I think that's what would have worked.
That's an interesting thought. It would have been a PR nightmare.
It definitely would have been.
But it might have been able to.
You wouldn't have denied payouts, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. In my eyes, it's not denying, but technically it is, right? Where it's like it is genuinely an error. Yeah. If you made the money properly, we've never.
Exactly.
So it's tough because there really is no middle ground with if someone makes profit.
Dude, and with on Twitter, Hunter, like on Twitter, dude, something does that, or someone like gets a slow payout. It's like they go straight to Twitter and they just complain, dude.
That was the days of Twitter controlling the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a banging interview. We're getting strapped for time here. Actually, I'm gonna kick off with a couple more wrap-up questions. We got like 5 minutes left. Would you ever come back? That's a question from JY. Definitely. And what would that look like?
I don't know. I can't do it yet. But
yeah.
I still have it in me. I still have it in me, and not only that, but I think that with the experience and just the way the industry is right now, I think that I truly could make something special.
Yeah.
And do it again. But I want to. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
So to further that, another question from JY. What do you think is broken about the current prop industry? And so how would your new era of My Flash, learn to resolve that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that it's too easy to create a prop firm now.
And
easy now.
It's like there's so many people, not people, but like businessmen, I guess you can say, that create a prop firm that have literally no money at all. And not only that, they think it's easy. And it's probably the hardest it's ever been to create a prop firm, even though it's the cheapest.
Yeah.
I think that transparency, if you want to start a new prop firm, transparency is like extremely important. So literally showing that you have the money to pay traders, like depositing 50, 100K in a rise, and people can track that. Like as soon as you launch, you have like 100K in rise or something like that.
Yeah. That would be important. Yeah.
Other than that, like how do they know that you're going to be able to pay them? Unless you've done it before. So
unless you have an incredible marketing team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So wrap us up a couple more minutes here. We didn't even talk about Boostiko. We might, if chat likes, because I'm really digging Blake here.
If we can go on for like 5 or 10 more minutes, Hunter, I would like to chat about what he's doing now. You know?
I've got 5 minutes and then I've got another meeting. But Boostiko, tell us about it.
Yeah, but so Boostiko is literally, it organically happened, right? Where it's like you can come to us if you own a prop firm. Obviously, I've done it before with My Flash, and we've literally just implemented very similar strategies. Obviously, the market evolves all the time, so continuing to keep up with those strategies. I mean, email marketing, Twitter, Discord, affiliates, things like that. So we manage that for a couple of firms.
Yeah. What I want to ask you a question on this. What would you say to the people that will say, okay, well, what happened with my Flash? How, and you got Boostiko now. What lessons have you learned from it that can maybe help you in terms of like if anything comes up in that sense, to help the companies that you're working with to navigate those issues?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, marketing and risk they're similar, but they're not, right? There should be someone dedicated to risk on the back end and the operations team. So marketing is, in my opinion, the easiest part of a prop firm. If you've done it once, you can do it again. You know the strategies, continue it to evolve. Right now, obviously, as you guys know, affiliates are massive. So that's a huge part of it. But I would basically just say, make sure that company, whoever I'm working with, number one, has reserves, has the capital to stay afloat. And number three, that they're genuinely looking at risk all of the time. And if they do that and we get, payouts, the payout ratio to where it's like, 20, 30%, 15%, that's a healthy company, right? You're making sure that the trader's gonna be able to be paid, that they're taken care of whenever they reach a payout, and that the company is still gonna stay there, right? So I think that's key.
Nice.
You'd say shoot for 20, hey?
I mean, dude, a couple of the firms that I work with are at like 12.
Wow.
15.
Wow.
So,
their pricing is a bit higher then, hey?
Yeah, or harder rules.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah. Can I ask a question in terms of the, because I know Maven has this now as well. What are your thoughts on the new instant funding that's kind of gone from the futures to the CFD side of things? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's great. I mean, I love, when the industry evolves. I think one of the biggest psychological blockers with traders is the idea of having to pass the challenge, right? You're way more inclined to gamble it or rush through it, etc. So the idea of instant funding is nice because you're automatically funded. Obviously, it's going to be a little harder, but if you're a consistent trader and you truly are ready to be funded, then it works.
Yeah, personally for me, just from the trader side of things, I've literally just started trading instant accounts last month. They've been much, much better for me because I've been trading them like I trade my personal trading account, right? Yeah. But he has a question then for Hunter and you, Blake. Is it possible from your time in the markets to book any traders, even if it's like a handful?
No, I never had one.
Yeah. A booking has a number of issues. You can do it. It generally makes more sense to use global data than individual traders at a massive scale.
So like if X amount of traders are long, then you would maybe buy some NASDAQ, whatever the hell it is.
You would hedge against yourself.
Sure.
Right? So that your payouts would be more stable. That would be the safest way to play, and then just bet based off of the
because that's
data.
Am I correct in saying this, that's basically what brokers do on the back end, like CFD actual, I'm saying like brokers, they will have like a pool of traders that will come and let's say 100 lots of short NASDAQ, 100 lots of long NASDAQ, and then they're making money from the commissions and swap fees and that type of stuff.
The CFD brokers bet against you. So you put the deposit in and then they take the reverse side of the trade.
Okay. So they hedge you.
So that because and then so it is a little bit different with prop firms. They just decide not to send you to the market. With B-book brokers, they're actually taking the reverse trade sometimes, right? And then that way collecting the commissions.
Cool.
Yeah, guys, that's our time. It's literally 9 a.m. my time now. So I don't have. I got to wrap up quickly here, guys. The winner of the 50K is JY. You can open up a ticket in Maven Discord. You want a 50K Maven challenge. Blake, it was a pleasure to have you, man. We do this every single Tuesday. People can tune in. Plug your socials really quick if people want to follow you.
Twitter is Blake Be Free. I believe. Or
Blake
it's
Dupree.
I don't even
I think
know.
that's right. I think that's right.
Okay, bet.
Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you guys want to see Blake again, fucking let Discord know, because this was a very fast-paced chat, a lot going on here, and I'm sure he's got lots more to help us with as traders. Okay,
Thank you guys so much.
thanks, guys.
Cheers,
Ciao.
man. Cheers, Blake.